Ahoy hoy. Thought I'd do a quickie from, excuse me, Lockdown Garage, Lockdown Workshop. Something that's always bothered me, and it's a bit tricky, and even at Crimson, the good man Sir Christopher always helps people with it, is making a truss rod channel. If you don't know what a truss rod channel is, a truss rod is a long piece of metal that is adjustable, that changes the angle or the bend on your neck in order to make a decent action. Why? Because wood, although strong, has to play up against 6 strings, which is an enormous amount of strain. So you need a truss rod. The problem with it is sometimes you might have an incredibly expensive neck made out of the littled maple or 200-year-old mahogany or ebony or rosewood or whatever. You get it wrong by a couple of millimeters, or you put a wobble in it, you are absolutely up poop creek. So there's various methods of doing it if you look out there on the internet. One which is using a table circular saw, and you put your neck down on it and do that. Looks a bit tricky to me, never tried it. There's a way of using your router table and putting your neck down on it and hoping for the, well, planning and doing the best way possible. I don't like that for the very simple reason you can't see what you're doing. So I decided to build a jig. Now there's various jigs out there, and I've got my lovely, down there is my trusty Triton. That one is superb. Thought, no, I actually just want this router for one job and one job only. So then I went and bought a affordable but cheap hand router. That's here. It's good. It's lovely. It's got all sorts of clamps and adjustable doodads. But I found it difficult to make a jig for it because it's round and not very easy. So I bought an insert to try and make. Anyway, long story short, couldn't get it to work easily and it kept damaging all my pieces. Then it came to me. Cruising around eBay, as you do, I found one with a square bottom. Let's lift up the bad boy. There. It's got a square bottom. That means it's got parallel sides. £22. Well, I've just spent more than that on sandpaper. So I thought I can make a really easy and quick jig out of that, because I can take 2 sides of that apart. Focus. Okay, you're not going to focus. Put them either end of a piece of scrap MDF and make myself a jig. So I did. And here it is. Important things to note. The 2 sides are completely parallel. I have put marks on, as you should do, always, for your centerline. Put marks on also for each end of your, I think it's 420mm truss rod, because you don't want to go any further than that. That's what I've done. It's all glued and screwed, apart from this end, which is just screwed. What next? Well, it's very simple. I've got my fake neck here. What a great headstock design. It's got its centre line down it. It's got marked up where I want my truss rod to go. There's your truss rod. Pachink. Then we just get the router moving. Okay, so we're back in the room. Here's the neck, obviously made out of very, very cheap, nasty pine or ducky fir or something. All the lines are more or less lined up. I've been doing little adjustments with my hammer once it's slightly hammered in. Most importantly, that moves, there's no jiggle. Those guides on each side are parallel. The guide at the end lines up with the end of the bit, which you probably can't see down there. And the same here, we've got the end bit there. And that, you can see even less there. Well, if I'm wrong, you'll see in a moment. It's all there. It's done. We've got a little jig. Incredibly simple. Just made out of MDF. Make sure, of course, that and that are absolutely flat and parallel. That's flat. That's flat. Let's see if I can prop this camera phone up somewhere while I give it a bit of a buzz. Right, for God's sake, don't ask how on earth I'm filming this with a mobile phone. Fingers in ears, it's gonna get loud. Let's wait till the end motor's finished. Pretty damn smooth. Little bubbling there, and it seems to have slipped down there as well a bit. Probably because I didn't do it up tight enough. However, all that needs doing there is taking it down by about another 2 millimeters, and the tip you always need to make a bit wider with chisels and flatten the end off. I will do that off camera. Okay, off camera all I've done is take the routing bit down part of a millimetre by part of a millimetre to make sure that I don't go too deep and I don't leave it too shallow. Easy way to check. Put it in. Yes, I can move my finger over it easily now, that's fine. Only error here is due to myself, which is there, because I tried to take the router out without waiting for the motor to finish. Hurrah! Next thing, clean up the ends. Right, using chisels, square out the ends. Then, because this needs to move around, you need to make it a bit wider each side, again with chisels. Okay, I've roughly done it on the top, I'll show you. But one last thing to do is fake put in your truss rod on the side of the neck. Mark out where it's going to come. So that you can plan where to drill from. So a set square there, it'll come out somewhere around about here. Rather obviously I've done this quickly with my lovely, lovely, lovely second-hand chisels. And I've done it a bit quickly, and pine is awful. Why anybody would genuinely use pine as a serious electric guitar, neck wood. I've no idea. Maybe it's an accent, but how does it fit? Just about perfect, actually. Slight raise in the middle. There always should be. That's what it's there for. My stupid little template, which anyone can borrow and steal, works perfectly. I wish I'd made one years ago. Toodaloo. Well, today's the day. It's got to go, unfortunately. Yes, I love my beard. Unfortunately, no mask works around us, and we're entering a stage in the world where I'm going to have to wear a mask, frankly. And what would I prefer? A fuzzy face or my life? Well, time to chop, I think. And now on to neating it up. It's not too bad, is it?